Let's travel back in time. March of 2022, Elden Ring had been unleashed on the world, and it seemed like the world loved it. Veterans and newbies alike joining together in the lands between to try to conquer and become Elden Lord. I was one of those newbies. Someone who had never played the series, never touched the genre, but I knew, looking at Elden Ring, that I had to play it. But not yet. Dark Souls. A game that needs little introduction. But in case you're unfamiliar, there's only about 2 words you need to know to describe this game. Janky masterpiece. And many experienced players probably remember weird bugs, strange occurrences, or just the really rough controls the first time that they really had to deal with them. In this nostalgia, I plan on revisiting head on, because for my first playthrough, I made a lot of mistakes, missed a lot of crazy good, essential plot lines that I still have yet to uncover today. For everybody watching, welcome to Dark Souls Revisited. While this run won't be as super restrictive as a challenge run is, I'm not allowed to just do whatever either. I am restricted to using a specific 3 weapons. I am not allowed to use the Master Key to avoid any sequence breaks, and we must fully upgrade the Pyromancy Flame. On top of this, there are 3 hidden challenges that we'll go through once we get to them. Pyromancer is our class of choice since it starts with the Pyromancy Flame. And as his creation is finishing, meet our main protagonist, Julius. He's not much of a talker, so just be patient with him. He'll come out eventually. The restrictions will be hard set once we leave the asylum. So first, we gotta grab our essential items. Pick up the Pyromancy Flame, hurry up and kill the asylum demon, and take the first ride to Lordran.
Dead shall be chosen.
Firelink Shrine, our home away from home. This just so happens to be the location to hold our primary weapon for most of this run, the Morning Star. Though the specifics as to why aren't super clear to you right now, just give me roughly about 1 minute and 10 seconds. And with the little souls we have pumped into endurance, I think we're ready to start our journey. First off, we go to the Undead Merchant to get the Residence Key. Then we'll grab some essentials from around the Undead Burg, before heading on to the first official boss of the run, the Taurus Demon. This dude was a problem. For one, I had no clue there was a ladder behind me when I went through the fog gate, so I didn't know how to deal with the crossbowmen, and on top of that, his hitboxes were questionable at best. With a quick Google search, a couple laps around the bridge, and remembering that plunge attacks exist, it was really only a matter of time. In present day, it took a couple plunge attacks, a fireball, and 1 extra swing to get it done, but the Taurus Demon goes down. Now we have a few things to cover before heading to the next area. A big part of this run is going to be going through some NPC quest lines, so I want to get those started while it's still convenient. Gather some items, upgrade the Morning Star to +5, and we're officially ready to fight the 2 bosses that made me pick up this weapon in the first place. The gargoyles absolutely served as a major blocking point for me. Whatever weapon I was using, probably the short sword or the long sword, it just seemed like it was doing no damage whatsoever. I cycled through a couple other weapons and nothing. That was until I started using the Morning Star. And I just happened to land on a hidden gem. Because even today, like, I wasn't even just, coping back then, though. Like, this weapon actually eats the gargoyles for breakfast. It's not even funny. It's ridiculous. And with the help of some lightning resin, the Belfry gargoyles died. They're dead now. Yeah, that's about it. And despite me forgetting that bells were the objective in my first run, that's 1 down. And knowing that I will absolutely make a mistake at one point or another, I decided to buy myself a purging stone. Because I'll definitely need it. On a similar note of things I know I'm gonna hate, the lower Undead Berg is definitely gonna suck. It literally never not sucks. The dogs are awful, the thieves blow, and it's mainly those things. No, seriously, I don't think I have ever, in the history of me playing this game, have been pulled out of a fog wall. That's never happened. This isn't Dark Souls 2. In other news, I saved Grig from trapping himself inside a house. On to the Capra. If you had an astute eye, you saw that I actually came through these fog gates not once, but at least twice, so he gave me a run for money more than enough. This boss has never been fun. It wasn't fun when I replayed it. It wasn't fun when I played it the first time. It's annoying, whatever. But after killing the dogs, he becomes more or less trivial. Yes, I know. In hindsight, the smarter move was probably just to fight the dogs instead of trying to homeward bone, but we move. Forgot to record myself going into the depths, so all you really need to know is that I did free Laurentius. The depths ended up being a major problem for me. For whatever reason, I kept falling down the hole. I just couldn't make the jump for the life of me. So I definitely spent more time here than I really wanted to, but it was necessary because there was no way in hell I didn't want to kill a big rat 2 years ago. Oh yeah, and remember the purging stone I was talking about before? Told you I'd need it. While I was up here, I figured I'd talk to Lautrec so I can get my justification for killing Petrus. Then I went to the New Londo ruins to gather the other Firekeeper soul, and after that, it was back down. After killing the rat and unlocking the shortcut, next up is the Gaping Dragon. I lied. Next up is Kirk. See, I almost forgot that if I fight the Gaping Dragon before Kirk, you no longer have the opportunity to get the invasion. So we have to take care of him first. And with that out of the way, now it's time to fight the Gaping Dragon. I don't have too much to say, honestly. Even back then, this boss wasn't that hard for me, so I'm nonchalant. Seriously though, even back then, he never really felt like a problem. He was just kind of a big health bar. I don't know. Gaping Dragon goes down. Alright, it's time to go down. Despite my general distaste for the area, Blighttown may be the most important location for this run. It doesn't contain one, not two, but 3 essential items that we will be using for the entirety of the run. Small side note, I was running from the enemies and made a really dope jump. Okay, I don't think there's any more need to gatekeep the information. First item is Power Within, then we're going to get the Great Club, and finally, we're going to get the Red Cloth set? I think that's what it's called. Now, while I give Mildred this business, let me give you a bit of an explanation. My Morningstar and the Great Club had a rivalry for my first playthrough. Whenever I felt like the Morningstar wasn't doing enough damage, I just pulled the big stick out and went boom. So, for tradition, I wanted to keep it for one specific use, but for the most part, the Morningstar will be our main weapon. As for the Power Within, it's just because I like it a lot. Now, without further ado, it's time for one of my favorite bosses in the game. And no, not for that reason. Quelaag ended up being one of the most fun times I had fighting a boss throughout the entire playthrough. There was something about perfectly timing the sword swings that felt like really good, and it just gave me like a huge dopamine hit, and I just love the fight. The fight still to this day feels really good. I still enjoy fighting Quelaag. But overall, it's not like she's difficult. She's just very fun. And I made the second bell go ring-a-ding, ding, 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 ding. And the gates are open, I guess. If anyone was wondering why they haven't seen the Firekeeper up until this point, it's because for most of my run, I didn't know she existed. It was only until I found these items that I knew someone was here in the first place, which meant I was running off of level 1 Estus for a long time. On to the next, which is notably putting my armor on. Yeah, for whatever reason, I just completely forgot to put on the armor before the Quelaag fight, so better late than never. Wow. Better late than never, I guess. Dude, nah, that voice crack was crazy. Next up is the Moonlight Butterfly. And despite missing a few fireballs, a couple, not that many, one cycle was all it took. And while I was down here, I decided to grab the Wolf Ring since I'll have effectively no poise for the rest of the run. And with that, we're on to Sen's Fortress. I talked to Siegmeyer and let him know that I'll help him with his boulder problem, collect a few large Titanite shards to upgrade my weapon, and head straight to the top. Fun fact, I had no clue that this bonfire was here the first run, so every time I ended up dying, I had to go through the entire fortress. Throughout all my runs, I've never actually been able to make the Iron Giant fall off the fortress, so I definitely wanted to go for it now. This run, it should be pretty simple. My weapon does more than enough damage, and with a couple hits, he started to stagger. And after a couple more hits, he... What the f... Hello? Bro. Yo. Yeah, I failed that run. And with one too many close calls, I figured it was just better that I defeat him the normal way than getting the beautiful, beautiful falling animation. Maybe another time. Before heading into Anor Londo, there's a few more things we need to take care of. First, I get my Morningstar to +10. Then I gotta run the ones with this Titanite demon. If you were wondering why I had to mention every single time I was using a lightning resin, it's because I ended up using the first 3 that you get on him and lost. He needed the fade. And then I upgrade my Pyromancy Flame. With that, we're ready to head to Anor Londo, Golden City. You know how this goes. Make one of the painting guardians fall in an area you didn't know they can fall, like the bonfire. Accidentally figure out that you can jump through the bars. What? Expertly lead the Silver Knight off the ledge. Say hello to an old friend. Clear the Silver Knights for our local Onion Knight. Open up the main gate. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Lautrec. Now you know stealing is bad. Give it back. Give it back. Thank you. Sorry about that. Now, it's time for the moment we've all been waiting for. The big ONS. Yeah, I don't think I need to say that these dudes were not easy fighting the first time. They are, in all meanings of the phrase, the dynamic duo. This is Shaq and Kobe. This is Batman and Robin. This is cereal and milk, bro. They don't play. There is no exaggeration when I say this first playthrough took hours to even get one down, let alone both of them. And I've yet to be able to beat Super Ornstein, so I always take him out first. And though Super Smo was intimidating at first, time and a bit of perseverance defeats all. And the Savage Executioner goes down with the rest. For whatever reason, when I first opened up the doors to Guinevere's room, I was like terrified. The red hue when you walk in the room, like the whole thing just made me scared. And until I realized it was a body in the room and not like something gonna kill me, I didn't want to go in. And with the Lord Vessel collected, there's only a few things left to do before we get to the main reason I made this video in the first place. I talked to Siegmeyer for a bit, then returned some stolen goods, and with my Pyromancy Flame as high as we're gonna get it right now, it's time to go to Blighttown. After introducing myself to Quaylana and giving the Stray Demon a first rate ticket to New Game Plus, it's time. Julius, if you will.
The truth, then. My first journey through Lordran was one of foolishness, unfinished ventures, the tarnishing of my own ideals. But even beyond this, I allowed myself to be blissfully ignorant, learning of this land's past when I could witness it myself.